Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Gokenauer, and today I'm going to talk about why the concept of Western civilization remains relevant in our modern world. To begin, we must first clarify what Western civilization actually is. As Daniel Hannan explains in Inventing Freedom, Western civilization consists of three fundamental and irreducible elements. First, the rule of law. This principle asserts that the law is not a mere instrument of state control, but an impartial mechanism available to any individual seeking redress. It ensures that even the most powerful figures in society, including kings and government officials, are subject to the same legal framework as ordinary citizens. The rule of law protects against tyranny and arbitrary governance, forming the foundation of a just and equitable society. Personal liberty is the second principle. This encompasses the freedom to express oneself without fear of persecution, the right to assemble freely, the ability to engage in commerce without excessive governmental restrictions, and the right to own and dispose of property as one sees fit. These are inalienable rights that individuals are born with. Third is representative government. This principle dictates that laws should not be passed, nor taxes levied, except by elected legislators who are directly accountable to the people. These representatives are expected to legislate for the common good rather than for their own self-interest. Moreover, they are to be held accountable by the voters who have entrusted them with power. These core ideals of Western civilization have been passed down through generations, originating in ancient Greece and ancient Rome, evolving through Anglo-Saxon traditions, and finding their expressions in modern democracies. While Western civilization is not perfect, nor fully evolved, dismissing or condemning it outright due to its imperfections is a grave mistake. Instead, we should acknowledge both its successes and its failures, learning from the past to build a better future. We live in an era where Western civilization and the study of classical traditions are under relentless attack. Critics argue that because historical Western societies practiced slavery, upheld racial and gender-based hierarchies, and sometimes imposed limits on individual freedoms, the entire civilization should be discredited. However, this perspective lacks historical depth and fails to recognize the very real and unique advancements Western civilization has made toward liberty and justice. As Robert Royal points out in his essay, Who Put the West in Western Civilization?, these attacks may stem largely from a lack of adequate education and critical thinking skills. Royal observes that at present, we need a profound cultural recovery, yet most college students are not introduced to the basic historical knowledge necessary for that recovery to begin. High school students, too, suffer from this deficiency, leaving younger generations unequipped to engage in informed discussions about the foundations of their own societies. This lack of understanding is precisely why the study of Western civilization is critically important today. The very survival of liberal democracy may depend on a renewed engagement with and appreciation for the foundational ideals. A well-informed electorate steeped in the principles of the rule of law, personal liberty, and representative government is essential for democracy to endure. Without this foundation, our freedoms and democratic institutions will erode, leaving us vulnerable to authoritarianism and political instability. Our heritage in ancient Greek political philosophy, Roman law, and English constitutionalism has granted us rights and protections that many other societies throughout history have lacked. The study of Western civilization should not be viewed as an exclusionary practice that disregards the struggles of oppressed groups or non-Western traditions. Rather, it is about recognizing the shared human desire for freedom, prosperity, and self-determination, instead of focusing solely on historical injustices. We should emphasize the ways in which Western civilization has provided a framework for securing individual rights and fostering human dignity. In other words, as Bradley Berzer points out in his essay, What Exactly is the West? Western civilization was the first to advance the universal concept of the dignity of the human person, regardless of social status, race, or gender. Far from being inherently racist or sexist, Western thought has been responsible for some of the most significant advancements in human rights and democratic governance. Berzer further notes that the irony that many of today's fiercest critics of Western civilization owe their very freedoms of speech and thought to the intellectual traditions they so vehemently reject. The rights of women, minorities, and the oppressed have been expanded and protected largely due to the principles and institutions rooted in the Western tradition. This is why, as historians, educators, and citizens, we must emphasize the importance of Western civilization. We must teach its virtues while acknowledging its flaws, fostering a nuanced and honest understanding of history.